YouTube, fight fans all over the world. It's your boy Real Talk Boxing, and I'm back at you again. I had someone comment on my latest Jake Paul, Nate Diaz video, and they asked a question, and it was very valid. It was valid, you know. The question was, why do you do so much coverage on Jake Paul? You know, we should keep it about boxing. And totally understandable. I get that. And I wanted to respond to it, and I'm not responding to this question with anger whatsoever, because ultimately it's what the watchers, the people who are viewing this, the viewers, think, you know, about our content. So I feel like I need to explain that. I really do. And this is no disrespect, no hate, no anger whatsoever, because it is a valid question. With me, with my channel, I don't typically like to cover what everybody else is covering all the time. If it piques my interest, I'll make a video about it. Because ultimately, if it piques my interest, somebody in the world is feeling the same thing about that certain subject. It piques their interest. So why not make a video about it? Because there's a lot of people in this world, you know? And when we're talking about Jake Paul, what is Jake Paul doing? He's trying to be a professional boxer. So it goes in line with boxing, you know? And I think it's because, I think the question was asked because not a lot of boxing YouTubers would cover Jake Paul because they don't see him as anything relevant. Some of them see him as a disgrace to the sport of boxing. But I've said this from jump. If you got enough nuts and guts to strap up and get in that ring, you have my respect. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what experience you have, because one thing about it, rest assured, it takes nuts and guts to strap up and to actually step into the ring under those lights in front of tons of critical people. And that I respect of Jake Paul. And if it wasn't Jake Paul, if it was another YouTuber trying to do the same thing, if KSI was active, if Gib was active, if DG was active and making moves like Jake and Logan, I would be talking about them too. You know what I'm saying? So it piques my interest and people are talking about it. And it leaves so many avenues for the comment section. You know, you got people who agree with it. You got people who disagree with it. You always have certain answers being put out there, the questions on the comment that need to have a light, you know, shined on. And a lot of times when we read comments on a Jake Paul video, you get enlightened about a lot of things, man. You're like, you know what, somebody will say something, you're like, no, what, I didn't think about it like that, man. That's good stuff right there. That's good input. It makes for good conversation, controversial conversation also. And that's one of the big reasons why I do coverage over Jake Paul. Now, if it was any other YouTuber with this type of movement, I would be covering them too. I don't care if it was that, who is that fool that goes around and fights people? The one who sucker punched Mayweather's father, Mayweather Sr. Charlie Zelenoff. If he was making big moves, I would be covering him. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to fight him. You know, trying to get on the undercard and try to fight that fool and get a big payday. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, as YouTubers, we cover what we see. We cover what we hear. You know what I'm saying? And we bounce off each other as YouTubers. We cover something that we read, because we don't come up with this news ourselves. And whatever we read or whatever we hear or whatever we see from another YouTuber, let's just be honest, if it piques our interest, we're going to cover it. You know what I'm saying? And I rarely see other boxing YouTubers cover Jake Paul. And that's one of the main reasons why I do it. You know, it's not because everybody else is doing it. It's because it piques my interest. And it's about the sport of boxing. So why not? And speaking of Jake Paul, one of my viewers, one of my subscribers sent me a link to a YouTube video on Michael Bisping. I hear that Jake sent his manager an offer. And, you know, Bisping's a former world champion in the UFC. I don't know much about him. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'm almost 42 years old. And, you know, if you want to fight, then let's do it. He said, I'll give you a lesson. And you won't make it outside of 3 rounds. Bisping, baby. Don't know much about him. But I know he's a former world champion. And he's a true fighter. Not necessarily a boxer. Probably the same size as Jake. But, I mean, that's some more headline news. To me, I mean, that could be interesting. I mean, I don't know how serious it is. I don't know if it's actually true that Jake sent an offer to him. But, you know, it's news. It's news to me. And if it keeps popping off, and they keep talking about it, and it gets closer and closer to maybe making a fight, then I'm going to cover it. Because I think it's interesting. Anything Jake Paul does, whether it's negative or positive, people are talking about it, and it's interesting, man. And that's why I do it. That's why I do it. You know, I like outside of the box. I like different things. I don't like one of the meal. Put it that way. So if people aren't talking about it and it's interesting, why not? Why not talk about it if nobody else is talking about it? Because they're going to be listening to you. Talking about something other people are not necessarily wanting to talk about or afraid to talk about. You know, afraid to get backlash for talking about a YouTuber boxing on a YouTube channel. I'm not. I don't really care because it piques my interest. So that answers your question. I forget your name, but I appreciate that comment, man. I really do. And this is why I love this kind of stuff, man. Respectful conversation. So that's my answer to your question. And I appreciate your support. Watching my videos, commenting on my videos, that's support, my friend. And I thank you. I appreciate that. As always, respect all, fear none. God bless. Until the next time, Real Talk Boxing. I got to get some work done, baby. Peace.